Lift off. Felt like I got some air. Slow. Welcome back, I'm Al Satch and I'm standing in front of what could be the most underappreciated, the greatest underappreciated sports car to have ever been made. Now, I've never owned a GT3, but I have driven one. I've never owned a Porsche Turbo, but I have driven one. I've never owned a 918 Spider, but I've driven one. You get the idea. And it seems that in the Instagram era, everybody seems to be obsessed with the latest and greatest and most expensive. Now, I don't doubt for a second that they are good cars. They're unreal, they're brilliant, they're amazing. But like I said, they are very expensive. And I think it was Muhammad Gandhi that famously said, there's something special about a car that just gets it right. A car that balances performance, simplicity, and pure driving joy. I'm fairly sure he was talking about the Porsche Boxster 986. Now, this is a 986 from 2004. It has the 2.7 M96 engine, and today we're going to do a little bit of a rollback. You may remember I used to own a 986. I love that car, but the time was right for me to let the car go. Now, this is a different kettle of fish. That was the first generation 986. This is the second generation 986. So my 986 had the 2.5 litre. This is still a base model, but it has a 2.7 litre engine. And it's finished in, I believe it's called seal grey. Now, the experts out there may well tell me otherwise. And of course, it does have the fried egg headlights. I've got news for you guys. The fried egg headlights are coming back. You heard it here first. There's been a lot of discussion about these headlights over the years. These ones in particular, they do need a little bit of a refurb, a little bit of a refresh, but that's something that can easily be done. So as we walk around the car, it's a 2004 model, so it's a 21-year-old car. And my God, 21-year-old cars these days, they look so good. 20 years ago, a 20-year-old car would look absolutely horrific. Well, most cars would in any case. There are very few cars that can stand the test of time. So this is definitely one of them, and I think it's starting to come into its own. This particular example has 18-inch wheels and is sitting on Nexen tyres. Now, although they probably won't be most people's choice, I find they do a good job of keeping the car planted exactly where it needs to be. The rears are sitting on 255 tyres. The front, they're sitting on 225 tyres. If we come to the back of the car, the wheels kind of sit in a little bit too much for me, so I think a good set of 20mm spacers would be perfect for this car. I've just noticed actually a little bit of a colour discrepancy on the rear bumper there. You may notice that this kind of rear end here is a little bit of a different shade to that, so it's probably had a little bit of paint at some point. It hasn't been done as good as it possibly could have been. But as we come into the car, let me just show you the front and the rear. Oh, one thing I need to tell you actually about the front, and probably some guys will know this. This is the rear sort of boot space. So you do get quite a bit of boot space as well. Not only this, but you do get front space on the boot space on the front as well. Now, sometimes, quite surprised this has come up because it does kind of stick. But if we lift that up, look at the amount of storage space you also get in there as well. So it's perfect for if you're taking on, like, if you want to go and do a road trip, if you want to go into Europe, which is quite a popular thing for people in the UK to do, take them over into France and do a bit of touring into Europe. You and the missus could easily get in here, take all of your luggage with you and have such a blast on those twisty mountain roads. So as we look at the interior of the car, it's got these beautifully leather wrapped sports seats with the Porsche embossed logo on the headrest. This car also has heated seats, which I don't think is too common on these cars. Let's get in and have a good look at the interior of the car. So it's got a lovely leather wrapped steering wheel. The dials, we've got the 3-dial display here. So in the middle here, we've got the tachometer, which revs to about 7,200 RPM, or red lines at 7,200 RPM. We've got a temperature display, a fuel display, and of course the speedometer, which goes up to about 160, something like that. I do know the car has, well, supposedly has a top speed of 155 miles per hour. I won't be testing that out today, unfortunately. I do not have the correct roads or the correct authority to be able to drive at that speed, unfortunately. It's a nice ergonomically laid out dashboard and kind of cockpit area and place to be. But overall, you kind of do find that there's a lot of sort of round edges. Everything is kind of bulbous and there's no kind of like 90-degree angles anywhere. Everything's a little bit bulky, a little bit bulbous. We come in here, we've got an airbag here, we've got a glove box right here where you can store your drugs. We've got cubbyhole compartments right here, the Porsche CDR23 radio, which does have a CD player in as well. What we got, AC, DC, of course. And then you've got all of your temperature controls, your demisters, things like that. We've got buttons where you can lock the car from the inside, the rear window. This is the roof, which I'll show you in a second. And then we've got 3 blanks here where you would put something like a sports exhaust. The sports exhaust in this car is non-existent, although it does kind of make a little bit of a nice grumble. I wish there was a sports exhaust. Every Porsche needs a sports exhaust. Now, on the subject of the roof, I've closed it so I can show you the full operation. It's really, really simple to do. You press this button and pull this section out, this little lever. The windows will come down to a certain point, and then it's just a case of pressing this button right here and it starts to open the roof. And the roof operation only takes 13 seconds, which I believe is quite good. So I'm going to take some pictures of the car for my Instagram and then we'll take it out for a spin. Time for me to look like a bit of an idiot because I am going to be using a cap mounted camera. I think it stays like this when I ask myself, why do I put myself through it? Honestly, why do I do it? So I've got the key, we'll put the key in. Just a quick mention there, we've got the light switches here. We've got mirrors here, which you can direct both mirrors. So we'll pop the key in the ignition, into neutral. We've got all of the warning lights which kind of come up along the bottom, which I always loved that about my 996 and my previous 986. So as you can see here, we've got a few things which have now come to life. We've got the oil measurement coming on screen, which comes on automatically. But this is kind of like a message center in the center here. You can take that off. And what you do get is the current mileage of the vehicle, the mileage from the last trip. You've got the temperature of 16.5 degrees. You can change that to the average miles per hour, the average miles per gallon, which is 21.4. Somebody hasn't been driving this hard enough, I don't believe. And then we've got a digital readout of the miles per hour right here. So we'll go ahead, we'll start this up. Does this car need a clutch in to start? I suspect it won't. There we go. So it's very quiet. You probably didn't even pick that up. And as we rev the engine, we have already warmed it up, so don't worry about that. You can see the tachometer come to life. And it's very, very precise, very responsive. Well, it's not very responsive. It could be more responsive if I'm totally honest with you, but it's very precise and it works. And there's no kind of like idle fluctuations. It's all very steady. And you can tell this has been a well looked after car. Safety first case. Have you ever seen that film, Interstellar? Safety first case. Okay, let's get moving. So we're going to move out of this little area that we're in right now because this is kind of like it is really like a coach park at the Metro Centre, and we got learner drivers and we've also got learner bus drivers in here at the moment. So we'll get out of this area, we'll get onto some open roads and we'll see what the 986.2 can really do. This has around about 225 brake horsepower, at least that's what's on all of the listings, and a top speed of I think it was like 155 miles per hour. But like I say, I ain't going to be getting anywhere near that today, unfortunately. It would be nice, but I can't get anywhere near that on these roads. So engine placement wise, it's a mid-engine car. The 911s have rear engines and the Cayman and the Boxsters have mid-engines. So it's kind of a little bit further forward than the rear engine, but it kind of sits just behind the seats. And I believe the 986 water-cooled engine was the first water-cooled engine to not be placed at the front of the vehicle in any Porsche vehicle. So I'm not saying it's the first water-cooled 911 or first water-cooled engine, but it's the first water-cooled to not be placed at the front of the engine, if that makes sense. Take a left turn here. What we have got is a 5-speed gearbox. Now you can either get the 5-speed manual or the Tiptronic. I've driven the Tiptronic. It's not as good, not as bad as they say, but it's certainly not as good as the manual if you want that engaging kind of drive. In the S model, I do believe you can get a 6-speed manual. Now, I'm not sure how well you can pick that up, but as I say, this car doesn't have the sports exhaust, but it really does make a nice tone for having a standard exhaust. And you can definitely feel that it's nippier, it's quirkier, it's more nimble than my 2.5 986.1 was. It's altogether a better package. And when this was released in the 90s, it was a revelation. It was a mid-engine lightweight car And it wasn't just, it was kind of sometimes overlooked because of the 911, but it was a true sports car in its own right. It has near perfect weight distribution, RPMs which sing to a high tone, close to 7,200 RPM with that naturally aspirated flat six engine. There's no turbo lag here, there's no compromise. It's just a little masterpiece. And that power is just instantly there. No turbo lag, no oversized screens taking away the enjoyment of the drive, no multifunction steering wheels, nothing to overcomplicate the car. The problem with modern cars is that they're just overcomplicated. They've got so much tech on them that they take the purity out of cars. They've got so much tech on them, and it's tech that nobody's asking for. None of the drivers or the the enthusiasts are actually asking for this technology. It's all technology which is being forced upon us. And I think that's why a lot of newer cars, they cost so much money. But with this car, it's kind of no frills. You don't get any tech that you don't ask for. You don't get any systems coming in to spoil the drive. It's all pure. It's a very pure driving experience, and couple that with the hydraulic steering in the 986, it all just kind of comes together naturally. Now I think that the Boxster 986 actually has a little bit of a party trick in that, because it's not that expensive, because it was kind of brought out in the era that Porsche had a brink with bankruptcy, the parts on it, they're not the best quality parts. So because of that, the car itself is not the most expensive car. And because of that, it allows you, roadkill, he's had a bad day. That guy's had a bad day, poor little fella. But as I was saying, because it's such a cheap car, you can buy a car like this, you can rag the tits off it, and you can, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if you put this into a wall, assuming everyone's all right, you put it into a ditch, yeah, you've lost a few grand. However, if you've got like something like a Spider RS or a new Boxster 986 GTS or something like that, you're going to be a little bit more apprehensive of kind of pushing it to the limit. I think with a car like this, it's definitely a car you can. I don't want to be stuck behind that truck for too much longer, so I'm going to take a little bit of a detour. And this might be the perfect opportunity actually for me to kind of get my foot down. Oh, look at this road. Never seen this road before. But this is what I mean. Like, put your foot down, go and enjoy it. Get the most out of it. Make that engine sing. Get those RPMs up. I have no idea what's over the brow of this hill, so I'm going to brake here. But I feel like if you're driving a 150 grand Spider RS, as great as they are, you may hold back a little bit. Oh, good brakes, good brakes. Keep going into third. I keep having to adjust my gears, but I'm already exactly where I need to be. Can't turn the traction control off on this car. It doesn't have an option for that. Oh, how have I never realised this road before? I probably have. I've probably been on it. Coming now into a 30-mile-an-hour zone. What a rush. What I should probably do, I've been driving it enough. I've been driving it with the roof up because I didn't really want the wind noise. Has that happened? What's happened? Why isn't this? Does the handbrake need to be on? Perhaps. There we go. Handbrake needs to be on, so I've learned a lesson there. I probably knew that somewhere at the back of my mind. There we go. Yeah, so I kind of didn't want to do a bit of speaking because I was conscious that the wind noise would be too much. And also, actually, when I'm driving it with the roof down, I'm noticing kind of like a bit of a scuffing sound coming from the rear wheels. So I think something might be catching, something on the brakes might need adjusting. See if we can get out of this little village and kick it a nickel again with the roof down. Got a Rambler here. I wonder how far he's walked. Matfin, Stamford and Ryle. We'll go this way. That road looked good actually. Oh, lift off. Felt like I got some air. Slow. Don't know what's around this corner. Could be a tractor coming, could be disastrous. We are in rural Northumberland, so we need to err with the side of caution. Not the quickest car in the world, but certainly one of the most enjoyable. I wish I could see what was coming around these corners. It's obviously making me brake a lot more than I'd like to. You can't see what's coming, you have to be on the safe side. As soon as you see a little gap, open the taps, kick it in nickel. Hotter than a boiling kettle. Hotter than Hell's Kitchen. Your boys have taken one hell of a beating. I must remember this road for future drives. Ryle. I'm not sure if you can hear that kind of clicking, ticking noise coming from the rear wheels. But we do need to be careful now and reduce the speeds because we are now in a new village. This guy's going for coffee as well, I think. What do we do? Starbucks or Greg's? I just like Greg's. I'm going over here. Like, I think at the end of the day, the Boxster 986, it isn't just a great Porsche. It's also a reminder that some of the best things in life are indeed cheap and are indeed simple. Just like this coffee, just like this cookie that I'm about to demolish, and definitely just like this cup holder. This is hands down the best cup holder I've ever seen on any Porsche anywhere, period. So thanks for watching, guys. What the hell is going on? I'll see you in the next video.